Dear Mr. A&R, we all struggling artists. Realize the world is cold, but we came here to spark it. Swimming little guppies in a sea full of sharks. It's gonna take a miracle to not end up hard.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Inside the Six with Ian and Thomas.
Hello.
Season is over. Tears have been shed, both happy and sad.
Fists have been thrown. All sad.
Two things, as you'll probably notice, this video is not live. We will probably not be able to see your comments live right now.
But leave them anyway.
Leave them anyway. We will respond, absolutely. Give us your thoughts, any questions, give it to us. We'll answer to it. One more thing before we actually start. I want to apologize for last week. You may notice a 4-hour stream on our channel. I accidentally left it streaming after last week.
Just do us a favor and watch all 4 hours.
My bad. I mean, it's black. After the first 35 minutes, it's just black.
Sorry.
Probably will happen again somewhere down the road. I'll try not to let it happen. Anyways, Premier League recap. What an exciting season. I'm going to go ahead and preface it by saying this was the best Premier League season ever. Which, I mean, it should be. It's the newest season. I mean, it's like with the newest technology. The newest is the best. This was the newest season.
And it was also the most exciting.
And it was. I mean, it was absolutely the most exciting. And I believe it was also the most goals of a Premier League season ever.
Over 1,000 goals scored this season.
See if I can
forget the number.
Find the number real quick. 1,072 goals.
Yeah.
It's the highest ever. That's insane. Kind of hurts to look at as a goalkeeper. Wow.
Yeah. But I mean, and man, there were so many goals that were so brilliant. I mean, picking a goal of the season.
I'm not even going to try. I can't.
I mean, I'd like to sit back and watch, all 1,070 something goals. It was aside from the PKs, except for Aubameyang's, was it? Who was it launched it over the crossbar?
Riyad Mahrez.
Riyad Mahrez. Yeah. Word has it that it has finally touched down
on Mars.
So there is at least football on Mars. There may or may not be water or intelligent life, but there is a Premier League football.
Anyway, so 2018-19 season. Congratulations, Man City. I'll say this: they deserved the win, but I mean, honestly, so did Liverpool. And actually, Vincent and company came out and said it was such an amazing season. Liverpool didn't deserve second. But
wow,
that's just what they got.
Yeah, and that's a big statement coming from him, considering I'm pretty sure he scored the title winning goal.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure. It was those 3 points that really just sealed it for City.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Brighton kind of gave him a scare. But 83 seconds later, they were back in it. So, for those of you who didn't watch the games, all 10 games were played at the exact same time. And that's so that, teams can't purposefully lose or purposefully draw to get themselves higher up on the table or something like that.
Whatever. You can't shave points. You can't rig games and outcomes and things like that.
And they do it for, like, the last group stage for World Cup and all the other tournaments. It's a way to prevent cheating and stuff like that.
Yeah. That, and it just makes it super exciting for everybody to finish at the same time. That way they can all go to the after parties and whatnot.
Of course. Because, I mean, they're all friends. But Liverpool scored first against Wolves. 17 minutes in from Sadio Mane. Brilliant goal. And it kind of... That put Liverpool in first. Then Brighton scored a goal. Glenn Murray, he asked for it.
Yep.
So thanks for responding.
Yep. Thanks, Glenn. Thanks, buddy. Way to give it everything, buddy.
And that, we thought for a second, this is going to happen. Liverpool are going to win.
Yeah.
83 seconds later, City put another one in, and then just a couple minutes after that,
it was less than 90 seconds between goals for City, and it was all downhill from there. And it even you could tell the atmosphere at Anfield changed a little bit. First, when 30 seconds before Glenn Murray's goal, Anfield erupted, and everybody thought, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God!" Brighton scored or something, and then it kind of quieted down. It was a false alarm, and then literally 30 seconds after that, the announcement was made that Glenn Murray indeed had scored, and I went running around the house.
He did.
Can
confirm.
I went running around the house because I thought that was it. I was like, yeah, okay, that's going to put City back on their heels. They're going to reel a little bit, and but anyway, so 90 seconds later, Sergio Aguero, called upon when needed. He's had a fantastic season. City's had a fantastic season. The biggest difference that anything made, besides Vincent Kompany's goal last week, in all honesty, I think that was the goal of the season for them. And probably one of the best of his career. He's not a goal scorer. But anyway, it was the fact that Liverpool had so many draws. I think it was 7 in a row. Now, granted, you have to go back 2 seasons. You have to go back to April of 2017 to find a loss at Anfield for Liverpool. So Anfield has turned into quite the fortress for the Reds. But those 7 draws, that's 14 points they left on the table. And City had the response for it. That's really what it comes down to. I will congratulate Manchester City. They had a fantastic season. I think they earned it. Am I heartbroken that Liverpool didn't come up with it? Sure. I was disappointed, but we all kind of saw it coming.
And I'll say this, despite who won the trophy, I think Liverpool were the better team. I say that because they had 1 loss all season. They had the keeper with the most amount of shutouts with Alisson with 22.
22 clean sheets. 2
joint top scorers in the league. And to get second place because of draws? And that's just how it works. It's not the best team wins. It's the team with the most points wins. And that's just how it works out.
And it's how it went down. I'm not begrudging Manchester City their title. It's the first time they're in a decade. There's a back-to-back. A second congratulations for that. That being said, I still think the funniest video I've ever seen is Eden Hazard pretending to be Raheem Sterling.
That's pretty funny.
If you haven't seen that video, you'll find it on YouTube. It's Eden Hazard imitating Raheem Sterling on the practice pitch, and it's beautiful. But Manchester City had a great season. Liverpool had a fantastic season. Everybody else had kind of a regular season.
I'm going to disagree with you there.
Okay.
Wolverhampton had an amazing season.
So, top 7.
We'll go over top 7 right now. So City with 98, Liverpool with 97, 1 point behind,
and a 5-goal differential.
Yeah. Chelsea was 72.
25 points.
And then, Man City's goal differential was 72. Liverpool's was 67. Chelsea in 3rd place, 24.
And Tottenham had 28, but they were just behind on points. So you got 67 goals, 72 goals in 1st place, 67 in 2nd place, and 28 in 4th place.
That doesn't show you the absolute destruction by Liverpool and City this season.
It was an absolute rampage by both teams.
Nobody could stop them.
Yeah.
So, Tottenham in 4th with 71, Arsenal in 5th with 70, United in 6th with 66, Wolves in 7th with 57, Everton in 8th with 54. I actually have a question for you about Everton later. 9th Leicester, 10th West Ham, Watford, Palace had a good end of the season.
Yeah.
They kind of struggled at the beginning. They really picked it up when they got Batshuayi in the January transfer window, and he turned out to be a really good signing for them.
Yeah.
So hopefully he's found a place there, and he can help. What's his name? I know his name. The striker that they have.
Will Zaha?
Yeah, Will Zaha.
Okay.
Hopefully, they can continue to form a bond as a striking pair and keep going. Newcastle in 13th. Bournemouth really dropped off. They were in the top half of the table at the beginning of the season. They're in 14th. Burnley, Southampton picked it up with Rolf Hasenhüttl, Brighton, and then we will no longer be seeing Cardiff, Fulham, and Huddersfield next season.
And we will no longer be seeing Chris Hughton for Brighton.
Yes, Chris Hughton was
sacked on Championship Sunday. They had a really bad second half of the season. They weren't doing terrible the first half. Second half of the season, they really just pooped the bed. And of course Liverpool beating them 2-0. But still, they had a pretty rough second half, and it cost Chris Hughton his job. He was actually the fourth longest Premier League manager at the time. Good luck to Chris Hughton. Hopefully something works out for you.
And then the solo awards, we already said Alisson got the Golden Glove with 22 clean sheets. There were 3 joint top scorers in the league, all 3 African. They got Mo Salah with 22 goals, Aubameyang with 22 goals, and Sadio Mane with 22 goals.
Yeah.
And we've actually been talking, and I don't know, because it's weird to have 3 of the joint top scorers. I think if it goes to that, it should go to the player with the least amount of penalties.
Yeah, I agree. I don't agree with the fact that there are 3 golden boots. You can't have 3 winners. I guess their way of thinking was, they all scored 22 goals, so they're going to share the golden boot. And if that's the rule, that's the rule. I'm going to live with it. But I agree with Thomas that I don't think that Mo Salah and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang should participate in that because they scored penalties. Mm-hmm. Every single one of Sadio Mane's 22 goals were from open play.
And 2 of them on Championship Sunday.
I watched a post-match interview with Jurgen Klopp, and he was all smiles about it. He didn't realize that all 3 of them were getting it. He said, so Sadio Mane and Mo Salah, and Alba scored 22 goals. He scored 2 more at Burnley. So all 3 of them are my players, huh? Speaking to the fact that when he was at Dortmund, that's where Aubameyang played. So he's pretty proud of the fact that all 3 of the Golden Boot winners are his. Whether Aubameyang is a red or not, he's not.
Aubameyang made his career at Dortmund.
Yeah, and and so did Jurgen Klopp for the most part. His management career at Dortmund.
But the player award of the year was Playmaker Award, which is the player with the most assists, and that goes to Eden Hazard. Which there's more on him later. More. Anyways, question to you: what has happened to Everton?
They're on the wrong side of Merseyside.
Not speaking as a Liverpool fan.
Oh, okay.
What has happened to Everton the past couple years?
I don't know. I think they're still in a lot of turmoil. They've had some management changes. They've brought in some new players, and I think it's a combination of those separate factors that are just weighing them down right now. I think they're, and this is really tough to watch as a football fan, and even as a player and as a fan. The home crowd is extremely important, and Liverpool will tell you that they credit Anfield and that atmosphere with propelling them forward this season. Everton's starting to lose their fans because they're not the powerhouse they were just a few years ago.
I mean, they used to be consistently in Europa League top 6.
Yeah.
Fighting for top 4. And, now, this season they're struggling to stay in the top half of the table.
Yeah. And their fans are starting to, I'm not going to say turn on them, but the boos, from Goodison Park are becoming louder and louder. And I think that hurts a team's psyche. I think that hurts their mentality and the way they play. So if you're an Everton fan, I understand you're disgruntled and you don't like seeing your team not win and not play to the level you think they should play. But, you're either a fan or you're not. I'm still wearing my Liverpool jersey because I still support Liverpool. They didn't win the league again. But I'm going to be a Liverpool supporter. And I think the fans really give a lot of energy to players. Mm-hmm. And I think right now that's part of the problem. there's something going on the field. There's something going on either the training ground or in the dressing room. They've had a couple of management changes, and the last management change they had, I don't think was the best one.
I agree.
With
Marco Silva.
Yeah, Marco Silva coming in. I think he brought a lot of bad blood with him, man, to be honest with you, because he left his other team to join Everton. Now, Everton, I think at that point probably needed a new manager. But I think when you leave a team in the middle of a season to go somewhere else, that's kind of a crap thing to do, man. Yeah. And I think you brought some of that bad voodoo with him, And I got to tell you, maybe some of the players on Everton don't appreciate that either, so they're not willing to buy into this guy. Think about it. Like, he left them; they were doing okay, and he left there. Why should I think he's not going to leave us too? So they're not buying into his program, maybe. It's pure conjecture. I have no idea. I have no line in anywhere. I'm just trying to think as if I'm an Everton player, I've got all this star power around me. I've got all this skill around me. Mm-hmm. What is it that's going to bring me down a little bit? And that might be it. The fact that, I'm not buying into this guy because he might leave. Someone might offer him a bigger paycheck and he's going to go, So I'll wait till the guy comes in who's going to stay, he's going to stay. You get a guy like Jurgen Klopp, you get a guy like Pep Guardiola, who are like, this is my team. This is where I'm staying. Until they tell me I got to go, this is where I'm going to be. You're going to buy into that guy and his program a whole lot more than the guy who just left a team in the middle of a season. So maybe that's it.
Now, before we move on, where do you see them next season? Do you see them being able to rebuild, or?
Well, they have no choice but to rebuild at this point. They could do worse, but I really hope Everton don't do worse. They're a household name. When you talk to anybody who knows even a little bit about Premier League, they've heard of Everton. Tim Howard used to be their goalkeeper. So people know about Everton, and to watch them, lose that status. Even as a Liverpool guy, that's it's disappointing. They have to rebuild. Hopefully, they have a good transfer season. Hopefully, the ownership and the board of directors and whatnot are willing to spend a little bit of money, maybe rebuild, and maybe Marco Silva can get these guys to trust him. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think that's probably their biggest issue. I think his players don't trust him yet, even though he's been there for months. I think still in the back of their mind is what he did. And I'm not saying it was a bad thing what he did. I disagree with what he did, but that's not it's not for me to say. They have to rebuild.
Next question. What happened to Man United this season?
What didn't happen to Man United this season? I'll be really surprised if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer keeps his job.
Especially after losing 2-0 to Cardiff on Championship Sunday.
Yeah.
A team who had already been relegated.
Yeah. Granted, they were with penalties, I think.
Were they?
I think so. But it's not just losing 2-0 to Cardiff on Championship Sunday. It's 2 wins out of the last 12.
One of them was a penalty.
One is okay. But when Solskjaer came in, it seemed like Manchester United was revving up. It seemed like they were finally out of second gear. They were ready to move on and ready to start playing. It even seemed like Paul Pogba was ready to play. Alexis Sanchez was ready to play, and
Romelu
Lukaku was scoring goals again. A little bit of fear started creeping back in, I think, around the league that Manchester United was on a comeback, and then they took a downturn, and I just don't think Solskjaer had what it took to bring him back. Paul Pogba was talking about leaving again. He's just not happy. But what happened to Manchester United is, again, Jose Mourinho stuck around too long.
I think that was their biggest problem. I think Mourinho did way too much moral damage to this team.
I agree.
To get anything done this season.
It's not the first time he's done it. He did it at Chelsea.
Yep.
He let his ego start getting in the way. That's my opinion. I don't have an inside line to anybody. I don't know Jose Mourinho. I don't have any inside sources anywhere. I just my feelings on articles I read and reactions that he has And even the way he treats his players, and during the matches, you kind of see there's just something. And I think he stuck around too long. I think the ownership or the board or whatever just gave him too much leeway, and there was too much damage done by the time he left, and they brought Solskjaer in as an interim manager, who I think as an interim manager did really well, and then right away he got made permanent manager, and it just went wrong. And I don't think it's all his fault. I think he had little to work with because of the damage that was done before. That's what happened to Man United.
I think if they keep Solskjaer on, give him the money to rebuild this season. All right, sell Pogba. Get $125 million for him. Use that to rebuild. You're not going to win anything with Phil Jones and Chris Smalling in front of David De Gea. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
I mean, don't get me wrong, David De Gea is a good keeper.
But he's not in the top 10.
But and that's another thing I kind of want to talk about. We'll talk about that later, hopefully. David De Gea is a keeper, and I've kind of started seeing this more and more as I've watched him more and more. The simple things get him. He's really good with these amazing acrobatic saves and these last-minute sliding foot saves, and it's great. But unless you can make the simple saves, it's not there.
Yeah, that's
true. Not there. I mean, and then Phil Jones and Chris Smalling. I'm sorry. Again, good defenders, not Manchester United level. Manchester United is a household name, a world-class team.
They're a powerhouse.
And they should be putting up names bigger than that. I'm sorry. That's my opinion.
And I would think it would be fairly easy for a team with the status and stature of Manchester United to attract good players.
They were second place last season in the league. They got second last season. And they fell to sixth. We'll see.
We'll see.
Transfers. There's one big rumor that's come out. Apparently, Chelsea has finally struck a deal with Real Madrid. You know who it is. Eden Hazard. I've seen this one coming for a year. I'm surprised it's happened this late.
Yeah.
He said it's a dream move of his. I get it.
Sure.
He's a world-class player. He's got the talent. He's proved himself year after year after year that he's a world-class player. Go to a big club like that.
Yeah. The good news for Chelsea fans is Eden Hazard's leaving, but Christian Pulisic is coming.
Yep. And Eden Hazard will not be leaving until after. It hasn't been officially announced. It's still technically rumor. And if it is announced, it won't be announced until after the Europa League final because Chelsea technically still have a game left. But hopefully Christian Pulisic can live up to Eden Hazard's, shoes. Those are big shoes to fill.
I think he's young enough, and I think he's skilled enough and confident enough that I think he'll do okay. I hope he does.
And he's already come out and said that he's very excited to be joining England in general, to be coming to a place where he can speak English, and he can learn a new style of football, and progress his career. So hopefully we'll be talking years down the road. Christian Pulisic as a legend for the Blues. But again, that's another thing. We'll have to wait and see.
And apparently, Kylian Hazard is also leaving Chelsea, going to somewhere.
Play.
I know, but so the Hazard brothers are leaving. Where's Torgan still playing? Is he still in Germany?
I think so.
Yeah. Aaron Ramsey left Arsenal for Juventus. They gave him a big send off at Goodison Park.
That's all that's really happened
so far. The transfer window is not even open yet.
Yeah, these are all just deals being worked out before it's officially open.
Yeah.
So a lot of exciting stuff that I think is going to happen, especially with Liverpool. You found something out yesterday.
I did.
Apparently, Jurgen Klopp has been told by Fenway Sports Group that he will be given whatever he needs to win the league next year.
Yeah, the Fenway Sports Group was at Anfield for Championship Sunday, and I think they felt a lot the same way I feel about the way the season ended up. They're very proud of the team, very proud to be supporters and obviously owners of the team. Probably disappointed they didn't get the title. But Jurgen Klopp was given the go-ahead to do what was necessary in the offseason during the transfer window. Do what you got to do. Build this squad. Bring us a title. And I think that's really good news, considering that there are rumors flying around now that Felipe Coutinho is leaving Barcelona, and there is the possibility, none of this is confirmed, these are all rumors, that there's a possibility of an actual buyback clause in his contract when he went to Barcelona, that Liverpool may be able to buy him back. And I think that would be a fantastic move for him, because he's not really fit in at Barcelona, because he's not playing as a central midfielder there. They've got him out on the wing, and he's not a winger. He's a center midfielder. And I think with Felipe Coutinho, Sadio Mane, Mo Salah,
Xherdan Shaqiri,
I think that would be
Bobby Firmino,
absolute destruction for any back four, and probably most goalkeepers.
I'd be scared.
I mean, just the thought of it makes me shiver.
I'd be scared with just one of them, to be honest, though.
I would really like to see him come, because there were rumors before that he may be talking with Manchester United, which I think would really upset me, Phil, if you went to the Red Devils instead of the Reds. I'd rather you went to Manchester City with Raheem Sterling, because Raheem Sterling doesn't need to play. Anyway, so those rumors are flying around. So when the transfer window opens and the money starts flying around, we'll do our best to keep you guys up to date on those things.
Yep.
It's bound to be very exciting, given especially the very simple fact that the January transfer window was kind of dry.
It was.
There wasn't a whole lot going on. Everybody was really kind of happy. Everton did nothing. I mean, literally nothing. They made 0 moves during the transfer window in January. I think that's something you're going to see in this transfer window. They really don't have much choice.
Yep.
They've got to start building something if they're going to be, the powerhouse Everton that they used to be. So the summer transfer window is bound to be pretty hot. That's my prediction. And like I said, we'll do our best to keep you up to date on who's going where, and if we can figure it out for how much, and things like that.
Yep.
So,
real quick before we finish it off, I want to talk about Championship, see who's coming up to the Premier League next season. First off is Norwich City. We'll be seeing those hideous green and yellow jerseys again. I'm sorry, it's an awful color. Those colors.
But they've been wearing it for so long.
I
right?
know, but it's... Yeah. I'll start turning my TV to black and white.
Let them have it.
Sheffield United coming to Premier League. That's pretty exciting to see.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Team that hasn't been high up very lately. And then, for those of you who don't know, the Championship goes to a knockout phase. Kind of an interesting thing. It is currently between Leeds United, West Brom, Aston Villa, and Derby County. So if Derby County can win that last spot, we could see Super Frank Lampard in the league.
Right on.
Again. So
that'd be I guess kind of cool. But that's one of the cool things about it with the relegation promotion system. The bottom 3 in the Premier League go back to the Championship to fight it out again, and the top 2 in the Championship are promoted. And then 3, 4, 5, and 6 have to fight it out to see who gets that 3rd spot. And it's a 2-leg deal, the home and away with the knockout stage. So it'll go to aggregate scores and whatnot. There's a little bit of drama with it last year. There were some fights and whatnot. So it gets pretty heated, apparently.
I mean, you're fighting for a place in the Premier League,
and it's a pretty lucrative place in the Premier League. A lot of these teams, I mean, when they get to the Premier League, they get that extra infusion of cash, to help them strengthen up a little bit and maybe stick around for a little bit. Didn't work out for Fulham and Cardiff.
Worked out for Wolves.
Worked out for Wolves really well. In fact, they even picked up Raul Jimenez, which is a pretty exciting move for them. And he's playing well for them. I mean, they finished in 7th place. They fought their way out of the Championship, got promoted, and now they're in 7th place.
With the Europa League spot.
With Europa. Yeah. So that's definitely a huge deal for them. I mean, all that's going to do is help that club grow even more, which is cool.
Yep. All right. Next week we're gonna talk about the European Cup Finals, the All English European Cup Finals, which is pretty sweet. But I think that's all I have for this week.
Champions League Finals coming up. That's all English as well. We are gearing up for the Women's World Cup. I think we're inside 2 months on that. It's June 1st to July 1st. Oh, yeah. So we're inside like weeks.
Yeah.
So that's super cool. So we'll bring you some information from there. Transfers as they come, we'll do that for you as well. And again, super exciting Premier League season. Absolutely got to be the best for me. Next year is going to be even better because the Reds are going to bring a trophy back to Anfield. They're going to bring their second one because we will be winning the UCL. So you can take that to the bank, Tottenham. And
laugh,
dude, my therapist is going to go crazy. So anyway, we'll bring you those updates. We'll bring you that information. We really appreciate your comments. So leave us comments. Again, we're not live right now, but your comments will be answered online anyway. So leave them. Tell us what you want to hear. Tell us what you don't want to hear. Anything we missed, so we can share it with the rest of the footballing world. That shares this little bit of airtime with us. See you next time. And that's all I got.
Take us out?
Yeah, I'll take us out. Big thanks to Thomas. He does the production and editing and pushing buttons and setting up and everything. Does a really good job with that. I appreciate him for that. Super big shout out to our friend Macrophonic MC. That's his music you hear at the intro and the outro. Super talented artist. Check him out. The links are there. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. Give us a comment why. If you really like it, go ahead and subscribe. You'll get notifications when we're back on. Usually we do it live.
Hit the bell.
Hit the bell.
He likes the dinging noise. It's weird.
Check out the t-shirt shop. There's super cool stuff there. Mugs, t-shirts, sweatshirts, phone cases.
Hopefully some new designs coming soon. We're
work on
the works for that.
Yeah, work on some new designs there. That's it. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we appreciate you. See you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Dear Mr. A&R, we all struggling artists. Realize the world is cold, but we came here to spark it. Swimming little guppies in a sea full of sharks. It's gonna take a miracle to not end up hard.